Before sunrise clears the rim, the first gelada drops from a sleeping ledge, fingers testing cold rock above open air. Below the cliff is safety by night. Above it is the day's food, a wind-brushed plateau of short highland grass. The distance is small, but the crossing is exposed, and every minute spent hungry makes the climb more urgent. They do not scatter. A few soft calls and glances hold the family line together as the rim brightens. To finish this day, the band must leave its wall, feed for hours, and find the same cliff before evening. They are Geladas Therapithecus gelada, an Ethiopian highland primate family moving as one male, females, and young. Their world is built in layers: cold ledges, sudden wind, thin highland light, grass, and open ground watched by danger. Success is not a single meal. It is enough grazing, enough contact, and a return to rock before darkness changes the odds. The adult male changes the family's options by holding a central position, but the females decide the feeding pace around him. The first obstacle is now clear. The food is everywhere, but the family cannot afford to become a loose crowd. The band chooses the easier slope away from the rim, not the richest patch, keeping the cliff within a day's return. Here, their ground life matters. Geladas feed seated, hands free to pluck grass while the body stays low and stable. The tactic works by repetition. Pull, bite, shuffle, pull, bite, shuffle, turning a thin pasture into a long meal. But grazing takes time. As the sun rises, the open plateau spreads the family wider than the ledge ever allowed. By late morning, they have fed, but not enough. A juvenile lingers at a patch, and the family line bends around it. This is the hidden work of a gelada day. Feeding and social contact are not separate tasks, but interlocked survival. Information travels through small signals: a head lift, a lip movement, a call, a neighbor shifting closer. Their feeding ties the cliff to the plants above it. Sleeping rock buys access to grass that must be harvested all day. The advantage carries a limit. A body built for hours of grazing cannot finish the job quickly when weather or risk shifts. Afternoon presses in with the meal unfinished, and every widening gap now costs attention the family needs for the return. A sudden movement over the plateau interrupts them. The band freezes, grass still caught in several hands. No chase follows, but the consequence is visible. Feeding time has become watching time, and the youngest are pulled close. The adjustment is not panic. The family compresses, then feeds again in a tighter patch, where more eyes cover less space. Wind becomes the next counter-move, pushing sound across the grass unevenly and making visual contact more important. The cliff is now behind them and below them. To sleep safely, the whole family must thread back down before dusk. The morning problem returns, reversed. The same rock that was an obstacle is now the only reliable night refuge. Their day of staying close pays off here. No one has to search for the missing path or a missing youngster. The result is partial but real. Bellies are not suddenly full, yet the family has grazed through the safest hours available. The cost shows in slower climbing and close spacing, especially where young animals need the steadier bodies of adults beside them. On the ledge, the band settles into quiet contact, the feeding day ending where the cold morning began. Repeated day after day, this descent and return lets young Geladas learn both maps, the grassland and the wall. Behind them, the plateau carries the trace of the day, cropped grass patches marking where the family stayed together to feed. For Geladas, conservation is also this simple corridor, sleeping ledges connected to enough highland grass for a full day's grazing. The first ledge is now crowded again, not as a starting line, but as proof the family kept its thread unbroken. A Gelada family survives the plateau by never treating food and safety as separate places. Each day, it must connect them.